Obviously, we're not able to make it. We knew that Jason was not going to be able to make it today because he was taking a child to, I think he was taking a child to, well, picking up, I think he's picking up somebody from school. At any rate, thank you all for being here and for agreeing to serve on what I think is going to be a very important committee. I have a few remarks, and then, as you can tell from the agenda, we're going to turn it over to you to select a chair and a vice chair. But first, I think I'd like to start by just asking you to offer to each other a little bit of your background, how you think this process is going to go, what any preliminary thoughts you might have, because you're also auditioning to see who's going to be the chair and the vice chair. So you should get to know each other just a little bit so that you've got some sense of what your backgrounds are. So why don't we go, we'll start with Mr. Normington Slay.
I got no experience. I don't know anything about it. No, just kidding. So Jeremy Normington Slay, at the risk of acting like I'm going to be elected or running for a chair or vice chair, which is not my intent. I'm a physical therapist by training. Been part of healthcare organizations that have ran fitness centers in the past. And I'm now the CEO at Firelands Health, and pleased to be on the board and working with you all. So thanks.
My name is Rich Finneran. I work for Civista Bank, work on the commercial lending side of the bank, been with the bank 30 plus years, and been a resident here in the community forever too, so looking forward to be on the committee.
I'm Tondra Frisbee. I'm the Youth Program Supervisor for the Sandusky Rec Department, and I've been working with kids a few decades now, doing after-school programming. I think is my understanding we have 60 days as an advisory, is that true? So within this 60 days, I would like for us to come together and meet as much as we can to kind of get this to our mission, which would be the size, amenities, and what kind of programming we want to see into the rec center.
My name's Leah Lexicos, and thank you for asking me to be on the committee. My background and career was with Cedar Fair, and I've also worked with several groups in the community, the hospital, the community foundation, some other groups. Sandusky and the area has been a lifelong passion, and from this committee, I, like Tondra, would say I look forward to working with everyone and see what we can do together to benefit the entire community.
All right, I'm Elliot Dyer. I'm here from the Erie County Health Department, here representing us to hopefully connect our programs to the rec center and help any way we can in helping increase the health of the community. As a rec center, you know, there's going to be a lot of health-related things that are going to be going on, so we want to be a part of that, and hopefully we can create that for the better.
All right. My name is Jerome Johnson. I am a regional area director for Boys and Girls Clubs of Northeast Ohio, a lifelong member of Sandusky, very passionate about our community. Just here to work as a collaboration with everyone to come up with the best possible programs and amenities for our rec center here in the city. So looking forward to being on this advisory board, and thank you for having me.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Blake Harris, lifelong resident of the great city of Sandusky, former Sandusky City Commissioner, local entrepreneur. I notice a side note, as I try to decrease the amount of boards I'm on somehow from time to time, I seem to be picking them back up. But it's a privilege to serve in this capacity on this board for a very important thing that'll be coming to this community. And I guess when I say thing, I mean I should have said resource. So again, just looking forward to being a part of this body. And as well as just hearing everybody's ideas just come together, and hopefully we can begin to shape and cultivate something that'll be a great benefit to this community for decades to come. So thanks again.
Hi, Dan Rambler, the superintendent with Sandusky City Schools. Background, I'm an educator. I love kids. I love working with kids and families. We have a phenomenal district, phenomenal community. We have kids that, they're a thrill to be around, and I love working with and interacting with our families and our staff members. So I think that, when you think of that in my background, I care pretty dramatically about what we have then within our community for our kids, our families, and our citizens in general. So I look forward to the process. I'm a big believer in collaboration, being really open and communicating with others. So I think that'll be great. You got a lot of really good people up here, and I'm pointing to all of them and not me, that we have a lot of good people that I think will be able to come up with some great ideas. And I believe that ultimately finding the ability to serve the public within the regional center, I think, is going to be a great opportunity for all of us to figure out and learn together around. Thank you.
I'm John Orzak. I'm the current city manager in Sandusky. I've been with the city since 1997, police department for 22 years before I came over to the city as assistant city manager and then city manager. My role is I'm going to have to make decisions on budgets and operations and all kinds of things down the line. So I look forward to getting some input. As a lot of the CEOs in the room know, the budget is going to drive a lot of the conversation and decision making. So look forward to that. I do have Colleen Gilson, if you can stand up real quick. Colleen is our community development director. And Chris Mailing, he's been spearheading as project coordinator for the rec center through the initial phase of where we got surveys and had a consultant on board and programming and site selection and things like that. Michelle Reeder's our finance director. She couldn't be here tonight. And Aaron Klein's our engineer. So Colleen and Chris, Aaron and Michelle will be at the meetings to answer any questions that the board committee might have for you as we go through this process. So look forward to it. Thank you.
My name is Richard Kuntz. One of 3 newly elected city commission members. I am not part of the advisory committee. Very interested in just being involved in hearing what you all have to say. I am the liaison for the Recreation Board, however, and the Recreation Board is a part of that for maybe the last 2 meetings before we actually, my fellow commissioner actually called for an advisory committee. We had discussed that. I'm looking forward to some of the folks that I've invited to be a part of discussions when you open it up for those folks who are part of our community who have worked with children, teens, the elderly. I'm looking forward to that time that those folks are able to chime in as well. And hopefully there is some aspect that will be dedicated to hearing from youth, elderly, teens, adults as well. So I know it's public, and I'm hoping that you all listen to those individuals as well. Thank you.
I'm Kathy Myers, and I'm just going to serve as your clerk. So if there's anything informational you need, please feel free to email me. I'm the one who sent out your meeting notices and so forth. So I'll be sure if I don't have the answer, I will get it from someone who does.
Welcome, Ms. Walk. How are you?
Fine, thank you. Good
Which one are you
evening.
going to sit here?
This is fine,
Okay.
thank you.
Everyone just finished introducing themselves and then just talking a little bit about, what they think it might be, the process or what they're looking forward to. So you might take a minute just to introduce yourself.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Excuse my tardiness. Just got off the bus with some young people. My name is Darlene Walk. I'm president of Local 3199 in AACP. And I'm here to see what I can add to the rec center that would be helpful and beneficial to everyone in the city of Sandusky. I'm non-biased. I'm very outspoken at times, but sometimes that's what it takes to get the job done. But I'm here on everyone's behalf, and I'm here to help and assist everyone here, and I'm here to learn.
Thank you. And those who are not able to be here tonight, you already well, you understand Jason Worling is our superintendent of recreation, Sue Daugherty, who is the executive director of serving our seniors, another important constituency that we want to keep in mind, and Carrie Boldman, who is the general manager of Cedar Point, was very excited to be asked to serve on this committee, and I know how busy she is this time of year, and I explained that if she wanted to send someone else, no, she absolutely wanted to participate in this, and she started rattling off all the things and statistics and background that they have in running, that she has in running similar entities. So I think that she'll be a great resource for all of you. And John Orzak indicated some of the city resources that will be available to you. You've got a really strong team. But I want to talk a little bit about what got us here. So I know a lot of you have watched this unfold in the newspaper over a long period of time, but just to recap some of that background. And really for more than a decade, we've had calls for the development of a rec center. I've heard it from many different quarters, but particularly from the young adults in the city. That's where I've heard it the loudest. And city staff and the commission have accomplished a lot in recent years to make the rec center within reach. It's a real potential today. We have funding in place for the construction of the rec center, and now we have funding in place for the operations of the rec center. Those are two of the three fundamental challenges to a rec center. But the big one that we're talking about today is, what is it? What is the thing that we're talking about? What does a rec center look like that is designed specifically for the city of Sandusky with its needs and with its assets? Now, as I indicated, we've tackled the first two major challenges. We've dedicated $700,000 a year for 20 years as part of the increase in the admissions tax in order to be able to construct the rec center. It will have to be bond funded, so you can't take the $700,000, add that all up and say we've got $14 million to spend because we're going to have debt that we're going to have to take on and there are going to be interest payments. If we get lucky, and I think we will, interest rates will settle down a little bit between now and when we take out permanent financing, and hopefully we can generate about $11 million for the construction of a rec center. Regarding operational funding, what is then that which is necessary for staff, maintenance, utilities, et cetera? As many of you know, the voters just last year approved a levy to support the operation of the rec center. This, combined with some portion of our existing recreation budget, is going to have to fund the rec center. You'll have experts available to you, which you will need to ferret out what these numbers are going to be. But I will caution that the rec center is, the rec department is much more than just a rec center that we don't even have today. We have a lot of other things that we do that are important to the community and which we need to continue funding. So you can't simply add those numbers together and come up with an operational budget. And the other thing that I want to point out, and this is really important too, the amount of money that the levy is going to raise will remain static. It's not going to increase over time. And so we need to set a budget that keeps that in mind so that it's got some headroom as expenses grow over the years. In that regard, at the same time, you're going to have to consider and make a recommendation, I hope, to the City Commission in terms of whether the rec center should be membership funded or it should be free to residents with charges to others. And I've heard a lot of arguments about this. Some argue that a membership model would compete with existing facilities. Others argue with equal force that a free for residents model would undermine for-profit facilities. And you're going to need to reconcile with that to see what you think is the right answer for this community. And back to the third challenge that brings us here today, the what is it? And I think in a lot of ways that can be properly restated is it cannot be all things to all people. From the very outset of this journey, we recognized that this could be the fatal fly in the ointment. That is, everyone has a different vision of what the rec center is. Some think of it as just sports and physical activities. I've heard that often. Others think of it as a community center. Others think that it should involve after-school activities, and still others want art and cooking classes. Sandusky needs to make choices because we cannot afford all of these things We look forward to your thoughtful deliberation and recommendations. So to answer the essential third question, we have asked all of you with your many talents and vast, diverse backgrounds to make a recommendation to the City Commission. You have two charges, and as Ms. Frisbee indicated, we hope you come back within 60 days. If you can't make it and you're working diligently and you think you need more time, we hope the chair comes back to the commission and says, this is what the plan is, this is when we think we'll fix it or finish it. But I hope you can get it within 60 days. That is what the commission's request is. So the two charges that you have are, what will the amenities be? And what will the initial programming look like? To answer both of these questions, or the answers to both of these questions, I should say, will be constrained by the capital and operating budgets, as Mr. Orzak indicated. We're not asking you to design the rec center. Instead, we are asking for a plan for what the rec center can and should offer within a budget. We anticipate using a design-build process to control costs, but I think most everyone in the room is aware of the recent and dramatic increase in construction costs. Again, you'll have experts available to you and to give you an idea what things are likely to cost, and many of you here have deep knowledge of construction costs. But we also know that it's unlikely that we're going to get a price that's going to be much better than $300 a square foot. If we got that, we'd probably be happy. We'd probably be able to accomplish what we want. But it's going to be, it's an open question. As Commissioner Brady likes to say, don't get sticker shock until you see the sticker. So we'll see. We've had some recent pleasant surprises. Regarding what the rec center is, you will have, and you will hear, many competing opinions. What we definitely do not want, please, are competing majority and minority reports that will divide the commission and will divide the community. If you stick to your guns regarding your individual wishes and your individual vision, the only thing shot will be the rec center itself. Instead, we ask that this committee arrive at a consensus recommendation. Please listen to each other with open ears and open hearts and compromise. We know we are asking a lot, but we have gathered much of what you will need to accomplish that yourselves, staff, and available outside experts. All of you and them have considerable knowledge. I also suggest for your consideration, in order to be able to move things along, the use of subcommittees, particularly to gather information to be shared with the larger group. Your next decisions regarding the chair and the vice chair may be two of your most important. This is a large group. Without someone who's experienced or able to run a large group meeting, you may find yourselves flailing and divided in endless meetings that go on and on. I have and offer no opinions or recommendations. I do, however, strongly suggest that you use at least a modified version of Robert's Rules of Order so that people are fairly recognized to speak, order is maintained, and the meetings are efficient. These meetings will not work if opinions are offered out of turn or if observers are permitted to interject into the committee's work. These will be public meetings. They are by law. But a public meeting is a meeting that occurs in public. The participants in the meeting are the members of the committee. At the same time, I urge you to permit public comment either at the beginning or the end of the meetings. And it's up to you to decide how you want to limit that. You can limit it in terms of the length of the comments and the amount of time that you allot at a given meeting for comments. I also urge you to devise a mechanism, most likely through Ms. Myers, to receive written comments from those who are not able to attend. With that, I will entertain motions for the election of a chair. You're at the moment of truth.
I make a motion for Blake Harris.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
I second.
The further nominations. Ms. Myers, would you call the roll?
Leah Lexicos,
Yes.
Elliot Dyer,
Yes.
Rich Finneran,
Yes.
Tondra Frisbee,
Yes.
Blake Harris, Jerome Johnson,
Yes.
Jeremy Normington Slay,
Yes.
John Orzak,
Yes.
Dan Ramler,
Yes.
Darlene Walk.
Yes.
I didn't hear how Blake Harris voted.
Abstain.
Oh, he abstained. If you'd voted no, I would have been concerned. And I'll entertain a motion for the nomination of a vice chair.
I nominate Dan Rambler.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Further nominations? I should have done this the first time. Hearing no further nominations, the nominating process is closed, and therefore Mr. Rambler is elected as the vice chair. With that, I turn it over to all of you. Blake, you're going to have to run the meeting, and I'm going to leave because I believe in the independence of this body. I do not want the commission itself, or as a commissioner, I don't want to participate in this. And so out of respect to your independence, I'm going to leave, and we'll await your conclusions, recommendations. Thank you.
All right. Thank you all again. Thank you, Tondra. I believe so. We'll see after the next several meetings. But again, I'd certainly want to take into consideration some of Mr. Murray's recommendations and really just setting the tone moving forward. Personally, I will say that I would encourage this body to allow public comments. Of course, with time limits, in addition to being open to the idea of written comments for those individuals that are unable to attend. And I would like some brief feedback as far as, what you all might think about that. I think public comments at the beginning could be very beneficial, because although we will certainly have an agenda and/or a list set of items, that we really are looking to hone in on and discuss in the meetings going forward, but I think it could really help having those public comments come before could really begin to sort of shape things for each meeting, and really dial in on some of the concerns, needs, wants, and desires of the public. So might you have any input, Mr. Vice Chair?
No, I agree with that.
Okay. Very good. Very good. So I will say we can go ahead and is there anything that anybody would like to share moving forward? And I know we still have to, I believe, set the meeting schedule going forward, correct? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Mr. Chair, I have a question.
Yes.
Or a comment, I guess. The public comment portion, you mentioned a time limit. Are you going to set that now or in the future? Just so everyone's aware, generally at our commission meetings, it's 3 minutes at the beginning, 5 minutes at the end. If we're going to allow public comment at the beginning, I would recommend 5 minutes of comment period.
Okay. Do I have a motion to maybe second that, or?
I second it.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Will you be setting then the framework and the process, the steps that we're going to take on addressing all the issues?
Yes. In future meetings, I'll probably lean on Mr. Rambler as just another, I guess, a sounding board, just to go ahead and set those parameters, if you would. So then, we can get through this diligently, if you would. So we agree to set the public comment portion at the beginning for 5 minutes. 5-minute time limit. Okay. Are there?
Mr. Chair?
Yes. Go ahead.
Okay. we have, 2 months, 60 days,
Mm-hmm.
which is relatively short, given all the things that we have to put together. Is this type of working committee able to keep things going through emails and other work in between our meeting times so we can keep things going?
Again, yes, great thought there. So my thing is I think that's definitely the way to go, because it also will prevent us from coming in here and having 2 to 3 hour meetings. And although, we all love being together, right? We do want to, just be mindful of each other's time and busy schedules. So if we can, go ahead and discuss maybe certain topics. Again, I think transparency with this body is going to be everything going forward. And obviously, therefore, communication is going to be very key. And so we will do, we will certainly do our best. And I do want to, our law director isn't here, but I do want to be mindful of what we do share, though, in emails and what, if we could get in trouble too, I guess, for a lack of a better term. So I may have to look into that just to see how much communication, is it one of those things where, hey, we can really only discuss, time in meetings and that kind of thing. Just for the sake of, again, going back to transparency and all this being public, we'll certainly have to be mindful of that. So I will make note to make sure I get with the law director just to get his opinion on that.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Tandra.
So with so much to do in this frame time of 60 days, I would like to make a suggestion that we meet no less than once a week, whether we all meet here or however. And that's a minimum, because it's a lot that we got to do in 60 days, and that we make it our business to come up with and develop recommendations to report to the, as far as the size of amenities and the programming especially for this community center. Even the name, I think, is huge too, because it was rec center and then community center, so it's a lot. But I think a minimum of once a week, so that'll give us 8 meetings.
Yeah.
But in between, like you said, those subcommittee meetings, we can take advantage of those too. But it's a lot, and I'm people that know me, they know how serious this piece is since I came on board in 2018 with no home for the rec department. And now being housed in Mill School for the last 2 years, it's very important that our families, that our kids and our families in the community deserve. They deserve this to be, we got to get this right.
And I would ask this body, just off of your first thoughts, is setting a particular day and time just best, or keeping it fluid? Because I know many people's conversations, schedules can change week by week. So I would certainly be open to suggestions of, hey, we every Thursday at 5, we plan to be here kind of deal, or are there any other thoughts on that, just in terms of, just setting a particular day each week?
Will it always be in the evening?
Yeah, I believe so, just because I think that'll, probably be best for most if I'm not overstepping by answering kind of for everyone.
Is there other day option? Could we look at another day?
No, 100%. I would just have to get with our clerk just to make sure that we're not conflicting with any other bodies that may, that may need this space during those particular days and times. So perhaps I could get with Kathy.
I did bring the calendar with me for this particular room, and it looks like Thursdays are really good at 5 o'clock. it's available other days, but invariably there's one meeting or another would be conflicting on a certain night.
Yeah.
I don't know if we could that night, if it would work. I don't know, John, what you feel about, could we go up to the second floor meeting room if there is a meeting in here, or?
We don't have the capacity to have we have to have it open to the public,
Oh,
so.
that's true. That's
We
true.
can't go to another area of the building without allowing the public.
And two, just to be mindful of, again, when I think of the importance of having consistency, just in terms of the schedule, again, I think that it's a way of letting the public know ahead of time. So then that way, they can tune in or chime in at the correct time. So again, I just think that's super important, just to try to prevent, some inconsistencies, doing it one week on a Thursday and then Tuesday on the next, that, it can kind of get lost in the shuffle. So yeah, just something to be mindful of. But I would, I don't know how everyone feels about, Thursdays at 5, or if you all would just like to kind of take the next day or two to go ahead and, look at your schedules, and for us to discuss if, maybe a Thursday at 5 would work. I know it sounds like we're sort of kind of limited really on our options. So, perhaps we could just even make a motion to, go ahead and set it for Thursdays at 5, and hopefully we can, get most of us in here each meeting. So would anybody like to?
I'm not available on
I'd like to
Thursdays.
make that motion.
I get a standing thing every Thursday. Thursdays are not going to work for me, so I can find someone else to take my place.
Yeah, I might have to do the same, but I don't know the night. I mean, I wouldn't schedule it around my schedule. I got 5 kids.
Same with
and a
me.
job.
Thursdays are bad.
Okay.
Yeah, the only other day I have is Fridays. I can't imagine anyone wanting to come out.
Well, no place I'd rather be.
You mentioned a couple days that maybe had, I know Wednesdays Landmark Commission meets, but that oftentimes it's canceled.
Yeah.
Is there other
Landmarks
meetings?
On Wednesday, rec board's on Wednesday, it's a little earlier. Planning Commission is on Wednesday. It looks like Tuesday is the second best night, and the only other conflicting would be the Art and Culture Commission. And I clerk on that commission as well. I don't know if we could,
Do they meet once a month?
yes.
So I guess we only have 60 days. So we could just, two times, we could just meet a different day during the week. Would that be easiest? Does
Or-
Tuesday work for more
Or
people?
potentially see if they
Yes,
could
me.
move those two as well. Not to
Yeah.
be presumptive, but we have 60 days.
True, yeah, that could be an idea.
Is Tuesday Is Tuesday better for people?
Yeah, Tuesday works better, I guess.
Not better for me.
Just a foresight, the commission meeting on the day after Memorial Day is on a Tuesday and not a Monday, so there'll be a conflict that day, which is the 28th of May. We would not be able to meet on that day here.
Okay.
But I would make a motion that we do Tuesdays at 5 o'clock for the next 8 weeks, other than the 28th.
I'll second.
You're going to meet on Memorial Day?
What's that?
You're going to meet on Memorial Day?
We can't meet on Memorial Day, the city's
Right.
closed.
I know it is. So what date are you going to substitute for that?
We'll figure it out.
I would just make a recommendation, Chair, that we set the Tuesdays other than the 28th, and maybe the next meeting that we have, which would be next Tuesday, the 14th, everybody might have an alternative day. Or,
Good idea.
That works, yeah.
I don't know what does the 29th, anything on that day?
There isn't anything on the 29th. We wanted to go Wednesday that week.
So I'll make amend my motion, if you don't mind, Chair, to have all of the meetings on Tuesdays at 5, other than the 28th, which will be Wednesday, the 29th at 5.
Okay. Do I have a second?
A second.
All right. Well, then we will go ahead and look to accept that. So let's plan on Tuesdays at 5 p.m. each week, with the exception of that last week in May, which that meeting will then take place on Wednesday, May 29th at 5 p.m. And our hope is that we will certainly be able to get all, or, most, if not all, of everyone here at those meetings. So, great.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
quick
Yes,
question.
Mr. Coons.
Quick question and consideration possibly, because I like what you said about the audience participation, and it's always good to try to have a time limit on that. But along with the time limit for them to speak or ask questions and comment, I think it's also good that sometimes they might ask a question, and then you might have an answer to it, right? Somebody else has something to say, and then there's another question related to what was answered. So I'm hoping that you consider that when others have asked to speak. And I also think it's a good idea because you've started this process today. For those who took time to participate, be able to at least ask a question or give a comment tonight. So I'm just asking you all to consider that as opposed to moving on to somebody calling for an adjournment. I just wanted to make sure I got that on the table.
No, I appreciate that, Mr. Coons. And for the, for the sake of not wasting opportunities, I think we should certainly consider that, can just, again, we just keep going back to this 60 days, right? So I think we should certainly open the floor to those who may have questions, because again, these questions could very well set the tone as we, in the upcoming weeks for our discussions. So if this body doesn't have anything else to offer, then perhaps we could open the floor to those questions and then go from there. So.
And I would ask each person that comes forward to speak if they would give their name and their address prior to, because I will need that for the minutes.
Thank you, Kathy. And without further ado, the first person that would like to step up, please, and if we could, just maybe keep it to a few minutes. Do we have any participants that would like to step up and maybe ask any questions? And again, if you would, just please state your name and address.
My name is Marcy Platt. I live at 1217 Columbus Avenue. And I just kind of wanted to know, what is it that you have to have in 60 days? Do you have to have the layout? Do you just have to, that might help people know what kind of questions to ask. Is it in 60 days that you have to have the whole plan ready, which means you have to tell the city how much money you need? Not sure about that. The one thing I can say, I was disappointed when I saw that there was, and I don't know who the representative is, and maybe it's you, Lee, nothing personally. Greater Sandusky Partnership, isn't that who we're paying $300,000 to each year? And I just think, and this is, I have to take a lot of ethics courses. I'm a licensed independent social worker. And it's unusual that you would have someone that you're already paying, that it isn't their job to sit on a board, that they are on the board. And the reason I say that is because the city may choose to give them extra money, and their suggestions could come to the point where they are the recipient of money from this committee. So that was my only comment, other than if somebody could give the public the idea of, what does the city commission want in 60 days? Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
My name is Wesley Poole, 1939 East Oldgate. First of all, thank you to each and every one of you. Some of you folks I actually know, and I'm sure everybody has a sincere interest in doing great things for the city. I just want to talk about your 60 days. At the end of the day, this is you're a new group of people that may not have spent a lot of time on recreational things before. If it takes more than 60 days, let it take more than 60 days. And Sandusky needs to not just complete another project. And that's just my opinion. It needs to be wow. It needs to work really well for everybody in the community. So I encourage you to say, yes, it would be nice. It was 60 days, but I think the Y's been closed, 10 years? We've been a long time without a recreation center. So 60 days, I hope you won't. Cut short conversation and just go along with the flow to get this over with, to meet some kind of 60-day timeline. Additionally, just encourage, Blake, that you have the law director stop by and allow these people to know what they need to do. I don't think you can ignore open meetings laws, which is what your question was, and I'm pretty sure you can't do that. The committee is extremely large, so the ability to, within the law, to speak to amongst each other once you understand what you're allowed to do will be. I think you'll be fine, and this will work out well. Looking forward to hear what each of you have to say.
Thank you, Mr. Poole.
Hello, I'm Patricia Ruppin. I work for Sandusky City Schools, and I am in love with my city. But my main concern is that we took a survey a while back what the amenities we wanted at that time, and I'd like to know the percentages of each amenity that was voted for. If you could tell us that, and did you take full consideration into the gathering that with an adult and a child in the same building together, enjoying one another in activities and events?
Okay, thank you.
Jason Henlin, 1445 Huntington Ave. Not sure if this has been decided already, but I wasn't sure if a site had been picked yet. I know a few years ago they had a couple of suggestions in the paper. The recent newspaper, I'm not sure if it mentioned that, but wanted to know if a site had been picked, where that was. And then how are we going to incorporate programs? I know the rec center is at the school, but external programs that work with youth right now, how are we going to incorporate that within what we're trying to build with the new rec center?
Yes, and just so you're aware, Mr. Henlin, it will be the former American Crayon site right there on this. Thank you. Any other residents that would like to address some questions or? All right, I think that might be, okay.
My name is Toby Winery. I live at 1021 Tiffin Avenue in Sandusky. Got a couple questions. Of all of the folks up here, how many of y'all, do any of you live outside of Sandusky city limits? Oh, that's encouraging.
No, I do. I live in Perkins.
You live in Perkins?
Yeah, representing Firelands, which is in the city.
Okay. Could they have somebody from Sandusky to do the repping? I'm just asking. The next question is, I didn't understand the financing part of the 14 million or the 11 million with the fees and all that kind of stuff. I wasn't sure, is this money already been donated by the Cedar Point, or we have to get a loan for this? And I didn't understand how that's being paid, as well as how the $700,000, and is that the total amount? Is that the limit that the new levy brings in is $700,000? Just like to get an understanding of the breakdown of all that.
Okay, thank you, Mr.
Good luck with all that.
Thank you, sir. All right. Is there any other business that we'd like to address this evening? Okay. Well, then I will go ahead and since we now have the meeting set, in the meantime, I will go ahead and get with our law director and then begin to formulate an agenda for our meeting next Tuesday. So,
Mr. Chair,
yes,
before
sir.
we close, if I could, we are not allowed to communicate through email. Correspondence is a violation of open meeting law. So I don't want to speak for the law director, and I'm not an attorney, but we'll get a final answer, and I'll have him send an email to the entire committee. We can't hit reply all and have any conversations outside of this meeting. Secondarily, I'm going to also inquire from him about subcommittees. I don't know what I'm not 100% sure, but if we have subcommittee meetings, I believe those have to be open to the public as well. So I'll get an answer to those questions tomorrow. But just so nobody hits reply all tonight. And I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, we're adjourned. Thank you all. You know,
That'll be fun. What are you doing?
yeah, there were a few of them.
Oh, yeah. Don't we all?
Yep.
I just don't want people
Right.
to answer.
I think, as we go forward, we'll definitely, address them during the meeting. So,
That'll be Memorial.
very good.
So I think we can both hang up on time.
Well, I think so.
Sandra, we need a word.
Yeah, come here. Hey.
She was asking. You guys got
Well, and like Mr. Rambler said, he was like, "Hey, we want to." I was like, "Maybe not tonight, but yeah, we'll Yep. So I think, we'll go ahead and address those questions and add next meeting.
Brought to you, we have our health involved from
More about cybersecurity.
health from come in and kind of each club teach a little health seminar. Back up.